All right, CCBA fans, we are back for another deep dive. And man, week 2 had some serious shakeups.
You really did.
Some things that we did not see coming.
Yeah.
Like, remember how we were all kind of thinking the Blue Tide were going to just walk all over everybody?
Right.
Well, they played the Blackjacks this week, and
Yeah.
it did not go well for them.
Oh, not at all.
And then the Warriors and LeSushines.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good game, but a lot of ups and downs,
Definitely had some surprises there.
So, are you ready to kind of break down these games and see what they tell us about the rest of the season?
Absolutely. Let's get into it. I think the Blue Tide Blackjacks game is the best place to start because that was the biggest surprise for me. I mean, the Blue Tide, they got all this talent, right?
Right.
But they are not playing like a team at all. It's like they thought they could just show up and win based on names alone.
Yeah, it's almost like they forgot you got to play together.
Right.
Like you said, it's not just about individual talent.
Exactly. And, Seth Logan really has, the #1 draft pick, another kind of quiet game.
Yeah.
Jaden Hurkis still hasn't found his groove.
No.
It's like all this potential and they just can't seem to make it work.
It really makes you wonder if they overestimated how all that talent would translate into wins.
I think they definitely did. And then you add on top of that, they lost to the Red Warriors last week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Which, if you remember, Jackson Haddon from the LeSushines called them.
I think he said the worst team in the CCBA.
Yeah, pretty much so. Not only are they not playing up to their potential, they're losing to teams they really shouldn't be losing to.
Ouch. Yeah, that's got to sting.
For sure.
But then on the other side, you have the Blackjacks, who everybody thought were going to be underdogs.
Right.
And they're playing like they've been together for years.
They really are. It's like a textbook example of how teamwork can beat out individual talent.
Yeah, and they're showing that you don't need the biggest names to win.
Exactly. Isaiah Perry. What a transformation, switching from center to guard.
That was a bold move.
It was, and everybody thought he was crazy, but he's leading the league in scoring.
Yeah, he dropped 22 points on the Blue Tide.
And shut down all those critics who said he was making a career-ending move.
Definitely proved them wrong.
And then Zeke Mullins.
Oh, man. What a steal in the draft.
Tell me about it. He had another amazing game, 29 points.
It's so exciting to see these unexpected stars emerge, right?
Absolutely. It makes the league so much more unpredictable and fun to watch.
For sure. You never know who's going to step up.
Exactly. And then you got Noah Brook leading the team.
Yeah, he seems like a real leader out there.
Oh, he is. He had that moment where he got a technical for kicking the ball after a turnover.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Some people might say that's a lack of composure, but I think it just shows how much he wants to win.
Yeah, you could see the passion.
He's got that fire, and I think it rubs off on his teammates.
Totally agree. A little bit of fire can go a long way.
For sure. But, okay, enough about the Blue Tide and Blackjacks. Let's talk about the Warriors and the LeSushines.
All right, that was a close one.
Yeah, it was a nail-biter, went down to the wire.
The LeSushines started out slow, though.
Yeah, they did. Jackson Haddon was actually pretty frustrated. You could see it on his face.
I think he was yelling something about the Blue Tide, too.
Oh, yeah. He definitely had some words for them. But anyway, back to the LeSushines.
Right.
They came roaring back in the second half. It was amazing.
What changed for them?
Well, Jeremy Stevenson finally woke up, almost got a triple-double.
It's like he remembered he was supposed to be a star player.
Right. He and Haddon were doing those pick and rolls like it was nothing.
They're unstoppable. And then Dom D-Frame caught fire.
4 3-pointers in a row.
Yeah, he single-handedly shifted the momentum.
It was a thing of beauty.
But on the other side, you got the Warriors. They just couldn't keep up.
No, they couldn't. Even with Arbi Omerbashi grabbing 19 rebounds.
19 rebounds. That's insane.
It is. He was a monster on the boards, but it wasn't enough.
Do you think maybe they had some matchup issues?
It's possible the Warriors are more of a balanced team, right? But the LeSushines have all those strong guards.
Yeah, maybe they just couldn't handle that kind of offensive firepower.
It's definitely something to think about.
So you got the Blue Tide struggling, the Blackjacks exceeding expectations, and the Warriors maybe needing to rethink their strategy.
It's been a wild 2 weeks.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder what's going to happen next.
Who knows? But I can't wait to find out.
Me neither.
All right, let's take a deeper look at what these games mean for the league and what we can expect going forward.
Sounds good. Let's do it. I think what's really interesting about this season so far is how unpredictable it's been.
Yeah, nobody saw this coming.
Like we were just saying, some of these teams that we thought were going to be at the top are struggling, and then you got these underdogs coming out of nowhere.
Right, like who would have thought the Blackjacks would be leading the pack right now?
Nobody, I mean, they weren't even on most people's radar.
I know, it's crazy. And it makes you realize that any team can win on any given night.
Yeah, the talent level across the league is so high right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing for the fans. You never know what's going to happen.
And then it makes it really tough to predict what's going to happen the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, take Isaiah Perry, for example.
Yeah.
He's on fire right now, leading the league in scoring.
It's unbelievable.
But can he keep it up?
That's the million-dollar question.
Will teams start to figure him out, you know?
Yeah, they're going to have to adjust their defenses for sure.
And how will he respond to that pressure?
Right. Can he keep evolving his game?
I mean, he's been playing with so much confidence.
It's incredible to watch.
But the pressure's only going to get more intense as the season goes on.
Totally agree.
And then there's Zeke Mollis.
Don't forget about Zeke.
He's been killing it too, averaging a double-double with points and assists.
Like it's nothing.
He's proving that he's not just a role player, he's a star.
A legitimate star.
Absolutely. But, you know, even with the Blackjacks exceeding expectations, I'm still really curious to see what happens with the Blue Tide.
Me too.
Like, can they turn things around?
They got to figure something out.
They have all the talent in the world.
It's all there.
But they're not playing like a team.
And they need to do it fast.
Yeah, the season's slipping away.
Seth Logan and Jayton Herkus, they need to step up.
They really do. Those two guys were supposed to be the cornerstones of this team.
Yeah. And so far, they've been underwhelming.
Especially Logan.
I know he was the #1 pick, and everyone had such high hopes for him.
Right. And he's shown flashes of brilliance.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been consistent.
And Herkus looks like he's lost his confidence.
Yeah, he's hesitant to shoot and just doesn't seem like himself out there.
Maybe it's the system they're playing in.
Possibly. You know, maybe Coach Herkus needs to make some adjustments to better utilize their strengths.
Yeah, maybe they need to rethink their offensive strategy, find ways to get Logan more involved in the flow of the game.
And create some opportunities for Herkus to regain his rhythm.
Right, and remember they have Dane Moulter too.
Oh, yeah, Moulter. He can be a force when he's on, but he's also a bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah, those emotional outbursts can really hurt the team.
It's like he lets his emotions get the best of him sometimes.
If he could just channel that energy into something positive.
He could be a game changer.
Absolutely. But it's all about consistency with him.
You said it.
All right, so the Blue Tide have their work cut out for them.
They do?
But what about the Warriors?
Yeah, they're an interesting case.
They've been solid.
They have, but they haven't been spectacular.
Right. It's like they're missing that extra gear.
They do, and you have to wonder if their balanced approach is going to be enough in a league where star power seems to be more important than ever.
Yeah. It's like they don't have that one guy who can take over a game when they need him to.
Exactly. And as we saw in that LeSushines game,
Yeah.
they can struggle against teams that have a clear offensive hierarchy.
Right, like with Stevenson and Haddon running the show.
Exactly. The Warriors just didn't have an answer for them.
So do you think they need to change their approach?
I think they need to be more adaptable.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, they need to develop some strategies to create mismatches and exploit weaknesses.
So basically, be more strategic about how they utilize their players.
Exactly. It can't just be about running their system every game.
They need to adjust to their opponents.
Right, and they need guys like Logan Toby to step up.
Yeah, he needs to be more consistent on offense.
And don't forget about Sam Giacobbe.
Oh, yeah. He had a great game against the LeSushines.
He showed that he can be a reliable scoring option.
For sure.
So they need to find ways to get him more involved.
It's all about maximizing their strengths and minimizing their weaknesses.
You got it.
All right, so the Warriors have some things to figure out.
They do.
But what about the LeSushines? They looked pretty good in that comeback win.
Yeah, they did. They showed a lot of resilience.
But can they maintain that level of play?
That's the big question. Jeremy Stevenson is the key for them.
Yeah, he can be a game changer when he's on.
But he can also disappear for stretches.
Right.
He needs to find that consistency.
And then there's Jackson Haddon.
Oh, yeah. Haddon, he's a proven leader. But he can also be a bit of a handful.
Yeah, he's got that reputation for being demanding.
And sometimes abrasive.
Right.
So can he keep the team unified?
That's going to be crucial.
Especially with a guy like Stevenson, who also has a big personality.
If those two can find a way to coexist,
And play to each other's strengths.
they could be unstoppable.
But if their egos clash.
It could derail the whole season.
So yeah, the LeSushines are a wild card.
A real wild card.
Lots of potential, but also lots of question marks.
So we've got a lot of intriguing storylines developing here.
We do.
The Blackjacks are exceeding expectations. The Blue Tide are trying to find their way. The Warriors are searching for that extra gear. And the LeSushines are a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
It's a dynamic league.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
The next few weeks are going to be crucial.
For sure.
As these teams try to figure things out and position themselves for the playoffs.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Buckle up.
If you are wanting to sponsor the CCBA, Please go to the description of this episode and look out. There's a link there.
Okay, so we've talked about the surprises and the teams that are still trying to figure things out. But now let's have some fun and make some predictions for the rest of the season.
All right, let's do it. Where do you want to start?
Well, I got to ask about the Blackjacks. I mean, they're at the top of the standings right now. Can they keep this up?
I think they have a real shot at making a deep playoff run.
A deep playoff run?
Yeah.
Wow. You really think so?
Yeah. I mean, they've got everything you need to be a contender.
Like what?
Well, they've got a balanced roster. They've got that dynamic duo in Perry and Malrez.
Right.
And their coach seems to be getting the best out of his players.
That's true. You can tell they're playing with a lot of confidence.
Exactly. And they've got that team chemistry.
Yeah, you can't underestimate that.
It's so important, especially in the playoffs when the pressure is on.
So you're saying they could even win the championship?
I'm not ruling it out.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It would, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
There's still a lot of basketball left to play.
Okay, so the Blackjacks are looking good, but what about the Blue Tide? They've been a big disappointment so far.
Yeah, they have, but I still think they can turn things around.
You do?
I think they can make the playoffs.
Really?
But it's going to be tough.
Yeah, they dug themselves a pretty big hole.
They did, and they need Seth Logan and Jayden Hurks to step up.
Those two guys need to start playing like the stars they're supposed to be.
Right. If they can do that, and if they can find a way to play as a team,
yeah,
they could still be dangerous.
But they got to do it soon.
Time is running out.
Okay, so you're saying the Blue Tide still have a chance.
Yeah.
But what about the Warriors? They've been consistent, but not spectacular.
Yeah, they're a tough team to figure out.
They're good, but are they good enough to compete with the best teams in the league?
I think they can be, but they need to be more adaptable.
More adaptable.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, their balanced approach works against some teams.
Right.
But against teams like the LeSushines, with all that firepower in the backcourt, they struggled.
So what do they need to do?
They need to find ways to create mismatches and exploit weaknesses.
So basically, they need to be more strategic about how they approach each game.
Exactly. They can't just rely on their system to carry them through.
They need to adjust to their opponents.
Right, and they need some guys to step up.
Like Logan Toby.
Yeah, he needs to be more consistent on offense.
And maybe Sam Giacobbe can build on that great game he had against the LeSushines.
For sure, he showed that he can be a scoring threat.
It's all about maximizing their strengths and minimizing their weaknesses.
You got it.
And then there's the LeSushines. They're the wild card in all of this.
They really are.
They have the talent to beat anyone.
But they can also be inconsistent.
Yeah, they're a bit of a mystery.
So what's their ceiling?
I know it's hard to say.
It all comes down to Jeremy Stevenson.
If he can find a way to play at a high level consistently.
And if he and Jackson Haddon can coexist without letting their egos get in the way.
The LeSushines could be a legitimate championship contender.
But that's a big if.
It is. But hey, that's what makes this season so exciting.
Right. You never know what's going to happen.
So we've got a potential Cinderella story in the Blackjacks. A team fighting to reclaim its glory in the Blue Tide. A squad trying to find its identity in the Warriors, and a team full of potential and question marks in the LeSushines.
This CCBA season is full of intrigue.
It is,
Really?
and we can't wait to see how it all plays out.
It's going to be a wild ride.
That's for sure. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's deep dive into the CCBA. Thanks for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for more basketball talk.